afternoon, everybody. Nice to be here again. My name is Catherine Ross and I deal with the sales, marketing and support teams here at Dynamics Consultants. I've possibly spoken to most of you over the years. So a very warm welcome again to the 5th Dynamics Changes event. Can you believe we've been doing this for more than a year? At the end, we always send out a feedback form, so some feedback about content and timing and all of those things would be really useful. If it's a worthwhile hour to eat your lunch to, that would be great. And also remember that you can win a bottle of champagne for completing the feedback form and sending it in to us. So before we get on with the agenda today, I'll give you a bit of an update on what's happening here at DC and in the NAV and Business Central world as well. So here at DC, surprise, surprise, we're out of the office again. We'd almost got back to our hybrid working with some people in the office and some people at home, part of the week in one and part of the week in the other. I'm sure that you won't have noticed any difference because we've been out of the office now fully for virtually 2 years. We did actually leave before Boris told us to do, so that we were ensured that there were no issues, particularly around the support desk. Vermont, who did a session with us last time on cybersecurity, have been appointed to handle our internal infrastructure, and there'll be more updates from Vermont as we go through the year. On staff news, Simon Whiting joined us in December, and Simon is going to manage the support team. You may have started to hear a different voice on the desk because he's learning the ropes and taking the calls on level 1. We have a new level 3 support person starting in February and also a new developer starting in February. So I hope you don't end up speaking to the level 3 support person too often. We are still recruiting for another developer, a solutions architect and a couple of consultants. And in the Meet the Team videos today, we have an introduction to Simon, who I've just mentioned, Omar and Robert. In the Business Central NAV world, I think in part due to legislative changes, Brexit and making tax digital, and add to that the working from home, ERP systems have come under review, and we are seeing a huge number of upgrades coming through. Following on for an upgrade, we offer the upgrade subscription, which allows you to pay monthly for an upgrade which would occur every 12 to 18 months, which is now in line with the modern lifecycle policy. Regular upgrades become much more relevant now, and life is much simpler with extensions. Stuart is also covering this in his session following this introduction. The big info also in Stuart's session is the Microsoft pricing, the new commerce experience. It affects any SaaS license pricing, so not the on-premise people. So if you're running Office or Microsoft 365 as it now is, or Business Central, I'm not going to steal Stuart's news, he'll cover it in his session. Trends in general, as well as upgrades, everything that we have sold here at Dynamics Consultants over the last 2 years has been on the SaaS platform. The buyer profile definitely fits the Gen Z and Buyer 2.0. They're much more educated before they engage with a partner. I also think that this has been COVID and working from home related because of IT infrastructures, but it's likely to be the brave new world of the cloud, and it looks like the Microsoft messaging is finally getting out there now. On a marketing note, we're looking to do some case studies in the next 12 months. So anything that we have done for you, a small project, a discrete piece of work or a whole implementation project, and we would love to hear from you, and we will promote your business through our marketing, and we can sometimes get Microsoft to promote it also, so it's great publicity all round. Pick up the phone to us, or I can put your marketing team in touch with our marketing team, and rest assured that we will do most of the legwork too. New software you're going to see today. We are partnered with Eddie from the Dogma Group with the Sirius App for Payroll 365, and they also do the Dynamics 365 HR module. Eddie will be showing us the integrated payroll today, and in the next event he will cover the HR package for us. Talking of the next event, the next event will be at the end of April, after the Business Central update at the beginning of the month. And hopefully, fingers crossed, finally we'll be exhibiting at Accountex. It's the 11th and 12th of May in the Excel Centre in London. It would be great to see you there. It's been 2 years since we've managed to do an in-person event, so fingers crossed that that goes ahead. I think that's all from me for now. So over to Stuart for the licensing update from Microsoft. So please engage your brains as this needs your attention. Add any questions into the chat box as normal, and we will endeavour to answer them. Stuart, over to you.
Hi, I'm going to run through a few updates regarding the product lifecycle and versions that are coming out of support, and then we'll cover the upcoming changes to Microsoft pricing. To start with, I'd like to start by giving a brief reminder of the Dynamics lifecycle policy changes that occurred a couple of years back. I spoke about this in a bit more detail in the Dynamics changes last year. All lifecycles, whether fixed or modern, start from the start date of the initial release of the version, not the date of any cumulative update releases. With the fixed lifecycle, this finished with the versions 13 and 14 released in October 2018. They provide you with 5 years of maintenance support with functional fixes, bug fixes and security updates during this period. They then have a further 5 years of extended support where they release security updates for the product. With the release of version 15, which was the first true version of SaaS in October 2019, they introduced the modern lifecycle policy. This is a different cycle, as you can see in the picture on the right hand side, where you get 6 months of feature, bug and regulatory updates and a further 12 months of bugs and regulatory updates. Beyond this, the product is considered out of support with Microsoft, so in total you get 18 months support for that product. Obviously, this applies to on-premise versions or versions installed in your own Azure setup in the cloud. It does not apply to SaaS versions as they're constantly updated every month, so you're always on the latest version. Because of the change in lifecycle policy, for the next couple of years there will be at least 2 different versions moving out of mainstream support. In this quarter we have NAV 2017 that moved out of mainstream support on the 11th of January 2022. This means there will be no future bug fixes coming out. It's on extended support until the 11th of January 2027, which means you'll continue to get security updates until this date. Any previous versions to Dynamics NAV 2017 are already out of mainstream support. Business Central 2020 Wave 2, which is version 17, released in October 2020, moves out of support this April. These end of support updates do not relate to you if you're running a SaaS version of Business Central, as you receive updates to your system every month and you're always on the latest version. If you are on one of these versions or an older version, then please talk to us about an upgrade to ensure that you're on an appropriately supported lifecycle. We are also offering our upgrade subscriptions that will ensure that you have an upgrade once a year to keep you within the supported life cycles of the products going forward. None of this affects the support that you'll get from DC, but could mean that you're not protected against any new security threats and won't get updates for regulatory changes, such as changes to Making Tax Digital functionality. Now I'm going to talk about the price changes. The pricing changes affect all SaaS licenses. This covers, but is not limited to, Dynamics Business Central, Microsoft 365, formerly Office 365, and the Power Platform. This does not affect perpetual licenses where you have purchased the license entirely up front and then pay your BREP on an annual basis. Here's a soothing picture before we move on to the price rises. What is coming is a 20% increase in monthly prices. For Microsoft 365, that is the first price rise in more than 10 years, and for Business Central, it is the first price rise since SaaS licensing was introduced. So this will be a 20% increase on the prices that you're currently paying to Microsoft. This comes into effect on the 10th of March 2022, so a little less than 2 months' time. Here I have a slide with some examples of pricing. These are the prices that we have been sent this month, but these are provisional prices. We're not expecting them to change, but there is the possibility that they might. The BC team member is moving from £6 per month to £7.20. The BC Essentials licence from £52.80 to £63.36, and the BC Premium licence from £75.40 to £90.48. There are also some examples of the Microsoft 365 licensing changes. If there are changes to these provisional prices, we will of course let you know. At the same time, Microsoft are introducing what they've called the new commerce experience. This predominantly affects partners and how they carry out their billing, but does have some impact on you, the customer. There are options to have subscriptions on monthly, yearly or 3-yearly agreements. Previously, you could add and remove licenses at any point. Reductions were charged on a pro rata basis, so you only paid for the time that you used them. Now you can only remove seats at the end of your subscription period, i.e. the end of the month, the end of the yearly cycle, or the end of the 3-yearly cycle. You can add seats at any time, and that will be at the same price as existing seats in that subscription, so the monthly subscription, the yearly or 3-yearly subscription. They will, however, give you a price commitment. If you commit for an extended term of 1 or 3 years, then the price will be fixed for that period. The new price increase only comes into effect on the 10th of March for monthly subscriptions. If you commit to a 1-year or 3-year subscription for Microsoft, it will guarantee the current prices for the length of your subscription. So to clarify, if you commit for 1 or 3 years, you will not incur the 20% price rise during this period. Microsoft are offering a range of billing options. Monthly subscriptions are always billed monthly. Yearly and 3-yearly, they are offering a monthly or annual billing. However, there is a major caveat. Microsoft have introduced new terms for partners. We are now wholly liable for the entire term of the customer subscription. If a customer ceases to trade or cannot pay for whatever reason, the liability for the remainder of the subscription would sit with the partner. Because of this, Dynamics consultants have made the difficult decision that we will offer the yearly and 3-yearly subscriptions, but will insist on payment upfront for the full period of the subscription. We have finance options available that we can offer to allow you to take advantage of the 20% saving for a 1-year term. The finance will be provided at 9% interest per annum plus a £150 admin fee with a £5,000 annual minimum order. If you want to guarantee and fix the prices as they currently are for a 1 or 3-year term, we will need to know and move you across by the 10th of March at the latest. If you require a finance agreement, then we'll need to ensure that we start work on this in a timely manner prior to that date. So please come and talk to us about this. Obviously, if you come to us on the 10th of March, it's unlikely we'll be able to process it in time. We will contact you each in turn if this is applicable to you and have a discussion about how you want to handle this. This screen is a summary of what can be done with each of the subscription lengths. We are still pursuing Microsoft to remove the liability on the partner. If they remove that condition, we will then offer the 1-year and 3-year options as a monthly fee. That is these 2 boxes here that will be affected. It's also worth noting that if you cancel a seat subscription or seat increase within 72 hours of placing it, you will receive a pro rata refund and will only pay for the time that you had those licenses. That is just for cancellations within the 72-hour period. Please be aware that whilst the users are named users, if an employee leaves and is replaced, you can reassign an existing seat to the new user at no extra cost. One other thing to be aware of is that you can combine the different subscription lengths on what is called a hybrid model. If you think you'll need to both increase and decrease your seat numbers during your subscription term, it is recommended that you use a combination to flex your number of seats. We'll walk through an example on the following slide. In this example, there is a Christmas decoration company that retain a core staff of 10 users throughout the year. However, in their busiest period, September to December, they employ an additional 30 members of staff that require access to Business Central. The hybrid model allows them to take out both an annual subscription and a monthly subscription. As you see here, there are 10 essential users on a 1-year subscription. That works out at £6,336 that has to be paid annually. And then the 30 additional essential users are taken out on a monthly subscription. So that's 30 users at the increased price, because of the monthly subscription, of £63.36. Meaning an additional £1,900.80 paid monthly just for the months of September to December. You can obviously mix and match, so you can have some on 3 years, some on 1 year and some on monthly. It's just those ones that you might want to decrease you can put on a monthly subscription, so you can decrease them as and when you need to. We're happy to run through this with you and give you guidance and advice to find the best setup for you. That's the end of this quick presentation. I'm sure it's posed some questions for you. If you have any, put them into the question pane, and if we have time, we can discuss them now. Or if not, we can give you a call back and discuss them after this webinar.
Hello, my name is Simon Whiting. I am the support team manager here at Dynamic Consultants. I have worked in the IT industry for over 30 years, the majority of that in application support. I joined the company in December 2021. My role is to ensure that support calls are correctly and accurately logged, assigned to the appropriate analyst, and then progressed through to completion, ensuring that the customer is kept updated during this process. We also provide technical resource to the project teams for the delivery of infrastructure when that is required. Outside of work, I'm a Crystal Palace season ticket holder and attend as many home matches as my wife allows. I also enjoy reading, and I'm currently working my way through the Agatha Christie Poirot books. Thank you.
So that was our introduction to Simon, and thank you, Stuart, for that overview of licensing now. I'm sure this is going to generate a number of questions, so as always, please add them to the chat box and we will endeavour to answer them. It might need a bit of thinking time, so there's nothing there at the moment. So now we've got going across to Eddie, who's going to take us through the payroll offering, which is integrated into Business Central. Over to you, Eddie.
Welcome to an introduction to Sirius Payroll 365. My name is Eddie Harford. I'm the CEO and the founder of Sirius Apps and also the Dogma Group. Today I want to introduce you to a product that we built called Sirius Payroll 365, which is a fully integrated solution into Business Central and fully HMRC compliant. This is a quote from one of our clients. So payroll is a simple thing, often complicated by software, and your system makes it simple again. This is a really nice quote because this is essentially what we tried to do from the outset, which was take sometimes a heavy, complex process laden through lots of administration and make it simple. And payroll is essentially a simple process, but it's a lot of administration which is involved, which often leads to errors and mistakes. And what we've tried to do is simplify the whole process. This is another quote from one of our clients. They're processing over 300 employees on a weekly basis. I ran the payroll myself this week and it went brilliant. I'm really impressed with the program and how easy it was for me. And even the HMRC submission happened just like magic. And we'll see hopefully that when we come to the demonstration, it is only a 5-step process to process on a weekly or monthly basis for any organization once they configure the system to be set up correctly. So today's agenda, we're going to talk a little bit about Sirius Apps. We'll talk about the payroll challenge. We'll introduce the solution of how we've solved those challenges. And then we'll talk about the roadmap and do a demonstration. So Sirius App is part of an organization which produces various products and solutions around ERP, CRM, marketing, sales, process efficiency, and so on and so on. You can take a look at our website if you're interested in any more of our solutions and apps. So before we started building Dynamics 365 solutions, we did some market research. We looked at the marketplace, and then we tried to work out what was the current scope. And as you probably know, the Sage Payroll is the market leader by some way, although it's been complicated more so recently by having different versions within a same product set with Sage. Like that, depending on how big your employee, you have to move from version A to version B. We didn't want those sort of restrictions in our product. And we wanted to make a system which could work for any organization, any size, from one person right up to 100,000 people. We know there's limited choice, especially when you're looking for an integrated ERP solution. And we also know that people want simplicity and they want the processing to be as automatic as possible. So from our market research, one of the key things we found out was the confusing pricing, having different tier pricings, having different types of costs for different types of people, depending on the number of employees or how often they run their payroll. Often the ability to implement the systems, get everything set up was quite confusing, was quite problematic for organizations, especially when they're moving from an old system into a new system. The ability to integrate into Business Central was always a pain barrier and always considered a high risk area of any payroll implementation. The ability to train staff on the system, so have that streamlined process, remove administration errors, remove mistakes, is core, especially when you're moving in a world nowadays where we have crazy amounts of sickness of COVID and you've got holidays and so on. Not always the payroll person's available to to do the payroll. And the last thing we want as an organization is to delay payroll for any reason. So the ability to have a system which is easy to learn, easy to access, and easy to upskill was one of the really important considerations. And then the ability to have flexibility So we have a solution that can work with any type of organization from small to medium to different industries, but having one solution that can be configured to solve those challenges was really important for us. We didn't want to have different versions of our products, like a small version, a large version, and construction versus financial services. We wanted something that would fit for all organizations, and through simple configuration could be set up to be and tailored to exactly the needs of any of our clients. So the solution to all of these challenges is Sirius Payroll 365. So the first thing we did was we sought about getting our HMRC certification, and we do that on a regular basis every time we do a new update and release. The pricing model is simple, so it's £1 per employee per month that's actively involved in payroll. So if somebody gets paid weekly, that's still only £1 for that employee, no matter how many times they get paid. If they're not involved in payroll that month, for whatever reason, if they've left the organisation, then you don't charge them. We always charge retrospectively, so we're not pre-paying, so we don't have to worry about credit notes or any hassle regarding clawbacks or something. So you only pay for what you use, so it makes it nice and simple. The system's easy to use. It makes the process of running payroll simple and easy and repeatable. And hopefully you'll see that when we come to the demonstration. In terms of being able to easy to use, what we try to do is make the system simple. We've used the standard functionality and capabilities of Business Central, so anybody familiar with Business Central will automatically recognize and understand the look and feel and navigation of our payroll solution, which is nice. We've also created a payroll portal, so it's a training portal which provides regular updates, both documentation, videos, interactive videos and quizzes to enable people to keep up to date with the latest updates and versions, and also to make sure they're on top of it in case they have to take over a role for temporary reasons, whatever that case may be. The product was really designed from the ground up to be aligned to the Business Central roadmap, so we haven't created custom entities around employees. We're using all the core functionality of Business Central. So you'll recognize a lot of the capabilities and functionalities and features within the standard product of what Business Central offers. You'll see all those capabilities exported into Excel, the reporting functionalities, the ability to do the filters, the navigation, the reporting, etc., etc. All the standard stuff, all the great features you'll love within Business Central, you can use all that same capability and functionality within our product as well. We haven't built something brand new, we've just worked with what is already there, which is, as we know, is very successful and works very well. And we've also built a long roadmap as well, so it's important not just to focus on the here and now, but to recognize actually clients, as they use the system, their maturity levels will increase. They want to have more information, more access, more reporting, and we've built a long-term roadmap to enable to align ourselves to our clients' objectives as well. So Sirius Payroll 365 has been around for many years in various forms. It wasn't a Vision product originally. We've updated it to work with Business Central and also converted it into a Microsoft App Source approved solution as well. It is a base payroll solution which works across any jurisdiction, and then we also have specific versions for specific locations such as the UK marketplace. We're also rolling out versions around Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and also the US shortly. So if you're interested in any of those other additional regions, or you've got a specific region you want us to cater for, if you reach out to us, then we're happy to work and support any organisation on those as well. In terms of the roadmap, so we've been working really hard, doing lots of updates. P11D is actually completed, it's rolled out a couple of months ago. It's now been HMRC approved, and it's also now available via the Microsoft App Source as well. And we're also looking to do some more intelligence-based updates in 2022 around data, what if scenario, and also recommendations around payroll costs as well. So as a company, we do lots of different apps, but we're going to focus on demonstration now. I'm going to show you what the product looks like. So you should be able to see a browser now. So this is Payroll embedded in Business Central. We can now see a payroll specific dashboard. The reason we can see this, if we go to my settings, I've got a role called Payroll Process, which allows me to access the payroll information. If I go into my employee setup, you can see the way it's been configured. This is a standard BC employment card. And now we've got the payroll section. We can see all the different information, salary grades, frequency, the calculations which are updated real time, and any payment information in terms of being able to do back payments as well. In terms of reports, all the standard things you'd expect: starter list, P45, P11, P60, payroll summaries, check exceptions and errors. This is really to enable you to support things like onboarding or pension auto enrollments, staff things where they fall out, minimum errors around minimum wage, those sort of things. So it gives you the ability to run reports to make sure you're up to speed and legal with all the UK requirements. As I'm not sure if you know, but HMRC have a pretty harsh name and shame policy of identifying employees who fall foul of the minimum wage. But this gives you that reassurance that the system will then manage and check it for you. We also have the ability to manage the payroll elements, so what pay elements are specific to each person, base salary, overtime rates, those sort of things. We can also manage different locations or different job roles. So if somebody actually has 2 different jobs and you get 2 different salary elements, then we can also manage that as well. Or if they get paid different amounts of money based upon the location of where they're working, it supports those sort of things as well. HMRC updates, this enables you to pull information from HMRC, such as student loans, updates to the tax code, those sort of things. And that can be an automated process if required. If I look at the setup of the system, just go to my payroll setup and go to my payroll setup. You can see in terms of the setup, we have the ability to make various changes. So if you are using the timesheet capability, which is optional, we can actually take the timesheet data and display it directly on the payslips, which is a massive benefit in terms of reducing payroll questions. If we wanted to, because obviously the integration to BC is automatic and out of the box, so instead of creating multiple payroll ledger entries for each employee, we can group it together by dimensions such as department or whatever you wanted to do using standard functionality. So you can see all the different things are configurable, and obviously change the localization depending on which country you're working on. You can do those things as well. If I go through, just show the setup of the pay elements. You can set up, these all come as standard for you automatically, but you can change them or add new ones. You can configure them as well. So you can map them automatically to different general ledger accounts based upon your setup and configuration of Business Central. And you can also configure which elements are linked to the timesheet data. And you can also identify which ones are tax exempt and which ones are editable per employee. So you can make some of them mandatory, and you can also identify which ones are which cannot be changed and which ones have to be done as part of the government law. So you can see it's fully configurable. You can also apply formulas, which is percentages. So rather than having a fixed amount, you can also say percentage of their salary. So, or you can do various amounts such as Benson. If I go through the processing side and show you how to run a payroll batch, we can see it's a 5-step process. So I'm going to start off by adding my employees, and I can add my employees all in one go, or I could add them into groups or filter them by any criteria. Once I've done that, I get the payroll elements, which works out how much timesheet data or how many pay elements, base salary, overtime they're allowed, holiday allowances, those sort of things. I have the ability, if I wanted to edit this data, so inline editing, and I can type in a certain amount and choose 750 in terms of a bonus. Once I'm happy with my data, I can then process the pay elements, which then allows me to calculate my national insurance contributions automatically. Then once I've completed that, I have the ability to view all the information. And if they're a new starter or they're about to lead the organization, I can then flag them. So then make this the last payroll or allow me to calculate the relevant pay based upon the new starting. I'm going to calculate and release the tax, which now locks the document down. And it's now calculated all my tax liabilities for all these different various people. Once I'm happy, I can then post and send. So posting and send will then send the payslips automatically, securely for Office 365. It will also generate payslips for each of my employees. It will then provide the payroll ledger entries based upon the setup I've configured, and does all of that with one click. So we can see 5 simple steps on a weekly or monthly basis to process the payroll. Once I've done my payroll, I have the ability to see all the history. I can see the timesheet data, I can see the HMRC updates, the FPS, the EFPS, the payroll ledger entries, or the payroll batches. Within a payroll batch, I have the ability to then view the timesheets information. Or if I wanted to, I could roll back a transaction as well. You can run payslips for groups of people as well, of course. As you can see, it can do timesheet data as well, and it enables you to have all the information you'd expect. It is configurable with your company logo, your details, and you can also put payment reference codes in. The number of pay elements and deductions is unlimited.
Thank you, Eddie. That was really informative and looks a fascinating alternative to Sage Payroll, especially as he's using all the standard Business Central elements. Amazingly, we don't have any questions about licensing yet. So as I've already said, Eddie will be back with us in the next event to cover the Dynamics 365 HR product. So now I'm going to cover our e-commerce essentials, which is our light touch web shop integrated into Business Central for both B2C, business to client, customer, and B2B, business to business. I'm going to walk you through the integrated experience. Well, actually, it's a bit of a run because I cover a huge amount of functionality. Today, I'm going to take you through our e-commerce essentials offering. Here we have a website, a web shop that we've built using nopCommerce, which is an open source web shop application. I'm not going to go into all the details of what it does, how it works, etc. Suffice to say that it's everything that you would expect a web shop site to cover. So here we've got our demonstration company, and we've got office furniture with subsections for chairs, desks and tables, and then supplies with different subsections. And when I go on to office furniture, I've got a list of all my chairs, and so everything that you would expect to see with the filters down the side by price, by colour, by size, by height, by material. So from that point of view, all of the standard functionality that you would expect with a website. What we at Dynamics Consultants have done is integrate the website and Business Central together so that when you load new stock into Business Central, it can automatically upload the static information plus the pricing and stock quantities onto the website. And also you can place orders on the website and these will come back into Business Central. We've done 2 layers of integrations. We've done the integration for a B2C environment, so for the general public shopping on your web shop, and we've also done it for your trade customers for B2B. So from that point of view, I'm going to walk and talk you through how we've done the integration and show you how it works in Business Central. So here we have Business Central. We have this is a SaaS environment that is running our demonstration. So here I'm in the same company. So it's a one-on-one relationship. One website, one web shop links into one company inside Business Central. So I'm going to look at an item, and I have created a reception chair. So I've got a new reception chair here. I've put the description in. We have a unit of measure, and we have some stock in there, and we have a cost price, £500, and we have a selling price. So all of that is all completely standard functionality. What we have done, however, is added this new field, nopCommerce enabled, which means that this reception chair is now able to be pushed up to the website. So if I go to the website and I look for office chairs and I scroll down, you'll see that we have this new reception chair here. This is showing inclusive of VAT prices. So if you remember, the price was £900. I've got a switch up here that I can swap to show VAT inclusive or exclusive prices. And when I look at my chair now, you'll see it's at the £950 that we had on there. Okay, so basically that flag now allows us to enable these items onto the website. What we've also done is for customers, so if I go to the customer card, we have used Sports Mayo furnishings, and there is a nopCommerce enabled here. So this is one of my B2B type customers, so that I have enabled the nopCommerce so that they can log in and the system will push up their prices. So if I look back at that chair that I just looked at, they could have a special price for that chair and therefore they would buy it at that price. Now, how do we handle the B2C customers? You don't want all of those customers cluttering up your sales ledger. So what we've done is we have created a special customer, CO30, which basically is a top level customer. And this is for our B2C customers. But what we've done behind the scenes is that we have stored all of the details when they're logging in and giving us their names, addresses and email addresses, all very useful information. We have created those as contacts. So as you can see, this is a contact card. This is a company contact, which is why it's in bold. And then we have all the people underneath it. So from that point of view, the all of the very valuable information is in your CRM systems that you can use for marketing. So those are a few setup things. What I'm going to do now is create a new item. So if I plus new, and I'm going to create a cream boardroom. Okay, so it's an item. I'm not going to enable it immediately. I'm going to come down here and say this boardroom table costs us £1,000. And I need my posting groups, otherwise nothing will work. So it's a retail item and it is a resale item. And then I'm coming down here and I'm going to use my unit price. Now this unit price is what the system will actually use. So if I was a member of the public shopping on a B2C environment, then it will use this unit price field here for the price on the website. So let's put our last direct cost in, so that we'll put some stock in a minute. So the other thing that I want to do is to add some attributes to this item. So here we have attributes. So we've got color, and we're going to say that this is, I haven't got cream, so I'll just say white. And I'm going to look at the depth. So let's say it's 600 centimeters wide, and the height is 500. Whoops. And the width is going to be, so that's the length really, isn't it? So let's say it's 1500 metre and a half and it's 600 wide. And we also have here material. We could have manufacturer, so we're going to say that it's marble. Okay, these are attributes. Again, this is standard functionality, and we could have the model year, and we could say that it's 2022. Latest model. So I've added the attributes. I've got my my cost price in. I've got my selling price in. What I perhaps want to do while I'm here is add a sales price for my B2C customer, so B2B customer. So for Sports Mayo Furnishings, when they buy this, they can get this for £1,250 as opposed to the 1,500. So I've set that up as a special price. This is all standard functionality. Nothing here is anything different than the standard application. Whether these prices be net prices or whether they be discounts, the functionality works in exactly the same way. And obviously you could have currency, you can have quantities on here, and all of that information pushes through. So the last thing I now need to do is to make it NOP enabled. So basically, if I click that button and we go back to the home page, what we now have are some messages here.
So if I look at my unprocessed one, here is my detail item, which is unprocessed, item number 7070. And if I process this one, then basically it updates it. This one is for my stock balances. I can process this, but I'm actually going to go back now and load some stock because otherwise I can't sell it. So I'm going to add some item on. So my item was 70070. So my cream boardroom table, I'm going to put them into the blue location, and I'm going to put in 25 because they're big and bulky. We don't want too many of those. So post that and post the journal lines. Okay, great. So let's go and get another message. So here I've got the stock this time to process. So this is I'm going to do the detail first, process, and then I'm going to process the stock. So now I've got some stock on my item. So here, if I looked at my item, in my inventory, I've got 25 in stock. Okay. That's not going to appear on my website yet because what I need to do is tell it where I want to see it. So at the moment, when I look at my office tables, I haven't got my cream boardroom table there. Yeah, because I haven't told the system where I want to put it. So what I have to do is I have to log in and become an administrator to my website. So I'm in the back door here in the nuts and bolts of the system. And as you can see here, we've got lots of different areas that we can configure. We can set up the contents and the catalogues and the different groupings that we want. So what I want to do now to just show you is to basically find the item that we created. So if I go here, here's my cream boardroom table with no picture on it. And I want to edit this so that we can put some extra descriptions on there and we can put the pictures. So we have more room for description here. I'm going to see, so large, heavy table. Seat up to 12 people, very high quality. There we go. So now I want to put the categories. So here are my categories that you've seen on my website already. So I want this to go into office furniture and office tables. Yeah. I could also log it onto the front page as well. So those are the categories that I want it in. Here is my price, so £1,500 that we saw from the item card and the fact that it's a VATable item. And down here we have the attributes. So we have the color, the depth, the width, the height, the material, and the model year that you saw me edit. These are all the attributes that have come through from Business Central. And now I want to upload a file. So I'm going to my downloads, and there's my boardroom table. I'm going to open that. There's my boardroom table, and I need to add the product picture. So there's my picture. You can see here that we've got a display order, so you can have multiple pictures on and you can specify which order that these ones, which order the pictures appear in. I'm going to track inventory so that we've got the stock quantity has come through there as 25. And as I mentioned earlier, you have different facilities that you can put on. It's always an interesting conversation as to whether you show inventory on the website or not. So I think I've done everything. So we've got the description, we've got the pricing, we've got the inventory, we've got the images on, we've got the attributes up. So I'm going to save my item and I'm going to go back to my website now. So if I go back to my website here, and let's come back to my home page and let's do a full refresh and go to Office Tables. And here is my cream boardroom table has appeared. When I click on this, you can see it's £1,500 excluding VAT. I've got the part number here, 70070. And here I've got my description that I added in and the specification based on the criteria, the attributes that we added earlier. Okay, so we've got our item up there, we've got all the information. So now hopefully we attract some customers to our website. I'm not logged in here, so I'm just shopping as Joe Public. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say I want to buy a new office table, and I'm going to choose my cream boardroom table, and I'm going to add it to my basket. And you can see it's all £1,500 excluding VAT. So I can continue shopping in the normal way. I can pick more items, I can add more things. I'm going to go to my basket. You see my basket sitting up here in the corner with all the items that I've got on here. So I can do all of the things that you would expect to do as a shopper on the website. So I agree to the terms and conditions, and I'm going to check out. So I'm going to check out here as a guest. I'm going to fill in my details. I've already pre-done this. Let's take out the DC because I'm not buying for DC. I need to select a country, United Kingdom, and I can put 25, the high street, and we've got a postcode and we've got a telephone number. So all the things I've pre-filled, but basically they would enter all of those pieces of information. Continue. Now it's going to ask me what my delivery is. I'm happy to wait 48 hours for it. Now, normally you would select obviously credit card or PayPal or SagePay, whatever method they were going to pay by. Because this is a demonstration system, I don't have the credit card facility turned on because I'm not putting my credit card in for £1,500. So I'm going to use purchase order just to bypass all of that for the moment. So here's my cream boardroom table. And if I click continue, this is my confirmation of my order. So here's my address come through here, and I've got my phone number and details all coming through, obviously my payment method and my shipping. So here's my boardroom table of £1,500 plus my shipping at £7.50, and I can confirm my order. So my order has been successfully processed in its order number 1014. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to log in. So I'm going to log in now as a returning customer, and I'm logging in as Sportsmayer Furnishings here with my login. And you'll see if I flick to VAT exclusive prices, when I look at office tables and we come and look at our cream boardroom table, it's now showing me a price of 1,250. When I go into it, it's coming through 1,250 as my price. So I can add this to the basket in the normal way, go to the basket, and it's not asking me any questions about details. Forgot to tick the terms of service box. There we go, check out. And now it's giving me my options of billing addresses. So I can say this is the one that I want and continue. And I'm going to take the parcel force in 10 hours. Here's my purchase order. And here it's asking me to enter my PO number. So Mike PO 888 and continue. Here's my order confirmation. Last click to say yes. So £1,250 plus my £10 carriage. Confirm my order. And that pushes me through. So this is order number 1015. So now if I come back to Business Central, because we've been away for a few minutes, one of those orders will already have processed, but I've got unprocessed orders here, and I need to go and get my nopCommerce orders, go and drag all my orders down. So 1014 has already processed. So in the background, we have a job queue running, and that allows us to schedule how often we want the data to go up and the stock to go up, the items and the stock to go up, and also how often we pull the orders down from the website. Because this is a demonstration, I've got that running quite quickly, and because we've been talking, the first one has already gone through. So I'm going to process this order, and I'm going to process this stock just so that everything's done. And then when I come in here to my nopCommerce orders, we're going to see 14 and 15. So 14 was my B2C order. So when I click on that, again, to stress, this is all fully automated. You don't have to do this. It's an option that you can take if you want. For purposes of my demonstration, I'm stepping you through the processes so you can see everything coming through. So it's our sales order number 1037. We've received the order. We've got our line here. We've got our shipping charge here. So everything is there. Here's my address, 25 The High Street, that I keyed in, and obviously my log-on details, my email address and my phone number to send all of the confirmation emails, etc. to. If I go here and view the sales order, it's 1037. Here's my sales order. So now in Business Central sales order, it's a release sales order. It's a nopCommerce order, and the nopCommerce order was 1014, and there are my 2 lines, so my GL line for my delivery charges, etc. So all I've got to do now is just go and click for the warehouse to pick it up and pick the items in the normal way. So if we have a look at the B2C one, the B2B one, this one is come from Sports Mayo Furnishings. We've got the different price on here. And we've got £10 shipping charge, and this is 1038 in here. So you can see now it's put the company name in and the company account number in. We've got the purchase order reference here. Again, it's a released order. And I come through here, there's my 2 lines in the normal way. And it's linked to the nopCommerce 1015. So again, it's a released order. We can just literally go and pick this from the warehouse. So we've pushed through 2 orders from the website into Business Central. So I hope you found that useful. If you want some more information on how this works and the pricing, etc., then please let me know or contact one of the team, and we'll be more than delighted to help you with this. Thank you for your time.
Hello, I'm Omar Kloob. I'm a business solution consultant at Dynamics Consultants. I work in implementing Microsoft Business Central for new customers, going through the implementation lifecycle, business analysis, set up Business Central, and conduct user training. I also help the existing customers to develop their business by implementing new features to Business Central tailored to the customer need. Usually, I spend my spare time with the family or play some games online.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Omar. I hope you kept up. I can't believe how fast I talk. There's a couple of questions come in. So we have one related to payroll, which I can't answer off the top of my head. So we've emailed Eddie and we'll come back to you on that one. The other one is related to the web shop. So the B2B element links through to Business Central. So when they put their order on and they use the purchase order, it picks up their pricing and then it comes through into Business Central purely as an order. So all of the normal terms of business, so their 30-day payment terms, would apply in that respect. So they come in, they can come in automatically. I showed you the long-winded way so that you could see the process, but they come into the system and then you just pick and pack them in the normal way and invoice it in the normal way, and therefore it will pick up whatever payment terms is on that customer account. So the answer to your question is yes, Jen. So I hope that was of interest, and not everybody needs a new web shop. So if you have a web shop now and you wanted it integrated into your Nav or Business Central application, then please talk to us. And dependent on the version of the platform, there are now apps in the App Store for different makes of websites that might be useful for you as well. So now it's back to Stuart. He's been exploring the Power Platform tools and he has a concept to show you. So over to you, Stuart.
Good afternoon and welcome to my demonstration of the data sync functionality built in the Power Platform. If you work with Business Central in a multi-company environment, it's likely you're familiar with the common issue of data synchronization. The way that Business Central works means there is only a small amount of information shared between companies, such as permission, users, and development. Often companies want to ensure that data within a group is shared and consistent across all the companies. For instance, a chart of account is often set up the same in a group of companies to make the consolidation process easier. Multiple companies in the same group will often sell the same items, or will sell different items to the same customers. In these scenarios, ensuring that the information stored in the system is consistent can bring huge value to the organisation. Historically, it was possible to keep data in sync, but only through carrying out development within Business Central. This work could typically only be carried out by your Business Central partner, and for every type of data that you wanted to keep in sync, more development would be required. It also had the limitation that you could only synchronize data between companies in the same database. With the advent of the Power Platform, we decided to take a look at this requirement and see how practical it is to produce a low-code solution using the functionality available out of the box. For this solution, we have used 4 elements: Business Central for the data connectors to access the data in Business Central, Dataverse to store some basic setup and synchronization data, and Power Automate to carry out the process of pushing and pulling the data. Let's take a look at the proof of concept we've put together. In the browser, we can see the Power Apps toolkit, where I have a solution containing all of the data sync functionality. In it, you can see all of the different flows that will carry out the data sync. I'll give a brief, hopefully not too technical explanation of what the flows do. There are 3 basic triggers that we are using from the Business Central connector: create, modify, and delete. Each time one of these actions is carried out on a record in Business Central, we can trigger a flow. We have created a set of flows for each record type that we want to keep synchronized between companies. In the example that we have built, we are synchronizing some setup data, namely payment methods, payment terms, and shipment methods. We are also going to be synchronizing some master data, in this case, customers. As well as the flows, we've also created 2 tables in the Dataverse. The first is to store the setup for the companies that we want to synchronize. We simply need to populate this when we create a new company in Business Central that we want to synchronize data between. The table stores the company name, the type, whether it's a source or destination, and a company GUID. The second table, if we go back, is used to store the association between the original record in the source company and the synchronized record in the destination companies. As each record is inserted into each destination company, a new record will be created in this table. Then, when a record is modified or deleted in the source company, this table will be used by the flow to determine which record to update in the destination companies. You can see from the columns of data, it stores information about the source and destination companies, as well as identifying information for each record in those companies. So here we have, for instance, the destination company for this particular payment method is in the DataSync Child Euro company, and this is the GUID for that particular record in that particular company. We'll now have a very quick look at the structure of one of the flows. If we look at the customer create flow, then when we click on it, we can see each time that the flow has run. Here you can see each time that the flow has run successfully. We can then edit it to see how the flow functions. At its top level, there are 5 steps that it goes through. The trigger is when a customer is created in the parent company. The next step is to retrieve the record that has just been created. We then set the variables, which are the field values for the new destination record. These are set from the original source record. At this point, we're just populating the customer number and filling in NA in the customer name. We then retrieve a list of the destination companies from the Dataverse table we looked at a moment ago. Then we enter a loop. This loop runs for every company that is retrieved from the previous step. The loop has a number of steps within it that create the destination record and then retrieve it. Finally, the add sync step inserts a record into the sync records table that we looked at previously and stores the identifiable information for the record in each company. We're now going to move across into Business Central and see this in operation. In SaaS Business Central, I've set up 3 companies. The first company is the DataSync parent company with a base currency of GBP. I've then set up a DataSync child company, also with a base company of GBP, and a third company, which is a DataSync child company, with a base currency of euros. This company will be used later to show how the Power Automate can also manipulate the data as it moves between companies. The first change we're going to make is a change to the setup in our company. We'll make the changes to the payment terms. Open the payment terms page, and I'm going to insert a new one here. One of our suppliers has payment terms of 30 days from the end of month. I'll enter the code, I'll then enter the due date calculation. So CM, which is the end of month, plus 30D, and I'll enter a description. So that record's now been inserted in my DataSync parent company. In the background, the flows are now running, and it should be syncing the data into the other two companies. So we're now moving to those and see what's happened over there. So I'll move into my GBP company. This is the list of the payment terms. I now press F5 to refresh the page, and you can see there that my new end of month entry has been created in this company. And likewise, if I move across into my Euros company and press F5 to refresh this list, I then got the data there. So there it is. We can see that by creating it in one company, we've now got the data synchronizing the setup between all three companies in our database. So the next thing we'll do is we'll look at creating some master data, in this case, a customer. I'm back in the parent company now, and I'm on the customer list. I'm going to create a new customer and apply one of the templates, in this case, the business to business template. The template defaults in a number of financial fields onto the customer, such as the posting group, payment terms, and payment method, as can be seen on these fast tabs. As this customer has been created in our GBP company and the template doesn't specify a currency code, it remains blank on the customer card. This means it's a GBP customer. We'll leave that as it is, and we'll insert a customer company name and address. Now that we've created the customer and filled out some basic details, we'll move into our child GBP company and look at the customer list. I'll refresh the list, and you can see there that the new customer is being created. If I click and go into it, as you can see, a new customer has now been created, and the changes to the name and address fields have been moved across, as well as all the other information, such as the posting groups. We'll now take a quick look in our Euro company. And if we click on the old McDonald's customer in our Euro company, you'll see one subtle difference. Because this company has a base currency of euros and not GBP, when the customer is moved across, the APIs that move the data between the systems know to translate the currency code. So in this particular instance, the currency code has been filled in as GBP in the Euro company. One last thing that we've done as part of our Power Automate is include a step that sends an email out. So when a new customer is created, it also triggers an email being sent to Dan Cook to notify them a new customer, number 230, has been created in Business Central. That's the end of the demonstration. This is just one example of what can be done with Power Automate. There are numerous other applications, but hopefully this starts to get the creative juices flowing. If there's something you think we could help with, then please feel free to contact your consultant, Catherine, or myself at any time to discuss. Thank you for watching.
Hi, I'm Robert Sharp and I'm a consultant apprentice. After recently joining the company, I'm thoroughly enjoying working here. I can easily balance working my apprenticeship while also completing the work for the company. Everyone here is incredibly friendly and accommodating towards myself and the other new members of the team. In my role, I'm training to be a business solutions consultant. This involves learning how to gather requirements for a customer, learning how to test the software, and training the end user on how to use our software. When I'm not working, I enjoy spending my time playing guitar, taking my two dogs out for walks, and also playing video games on my computer.
Thanks, Robert. Great to hear that everybody's being supportive. That's one of our key metrics. So thank you, Stuart. That looks like a great time saver for anybody running a multi-company scenario. This is just really, as Stuart said, to show the art of the possible, and you may well have a different conundrum. Pick up the phone to Stuart and you can discuss and see whether we can help you with it. So I think that's all from us. There's no more questions come in. I can't believe there's no licensing questions. It's obviously going to take time for you to permeate, but rest assured we will be in contact with all of the people on the SaaS license model before the 1st of March to make sure that we agree with you how you want to go forward. But please, if you have got questions specific to your business, pick up the phone to one of us and discuss the details. In fact, that goes for everything that we've shown you today. Remember, I said the next event will be late April, and we are at Accountex May 11th and 12th in London. And please remember the feedback forms for the champagne and any suggestions for topics that you would like to be covered, and also the regularity. Is quarterly the right time? Is the time of day the right element for you? So that's goodbye from me and from Stuart in front of the camera and from Jessie and Amy behind the scenes. Many thanks for your attendance today.